in Edo State between the governor and the deputy governor as it unfolds. Now, the crisis rocking the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has taken a new twist shortly after the suspension of Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso by the NNPP faction loyal to him, held a parallel meeting of the National Executive Committee in Abuja to reverse its suspension. They announced the expulsion of the new acting national chairman of the party, Major Agbo, and some notable members involved in the NNPP flag bearers sanction. What is happening after that outing that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso just had one point to prove in 2023, that is the generalismo of Kano politics, and we've severally given it to him here. Journalists hang out. He did very well in the presidential election in Kano. He did very well in the governorship election and the National Assembly election. Yes, in Kano. Kano politician is the godfather of Kano politics. But after the 2023 election, this is coming as a surprise that a faction can say, yes, our national leader, you are not going to be our national leader again, for trying to negotiate with the APC, trying to hobnob with the APC. We suspended you for 6 months.
You see, it's for Dr. Boniface and Ebonam, the moment you climb on the back of a tiger, then you know the outcome when you attempt to come down. Of course, the tiger will have been hungry, will consume you. Now, it was the BOT that suspended Kwankwaso. But Kwankwaso is a deft politician. He understands the game. He was able to convene the meeting of the neck of the party. So it's the neck of the party that first suspended Agbo. Agbo was a PRO until he became the acting chairman that they used to suspend Kwankwaso. Now, from suspension, they have been expelled from their own party, the Agbo team and Ebonam. So, at the neck meeting, I mean, it is the man who has the money that has the party. The piper dictates the tune. So, at the neck meeting, we have Kwankwaso there, you have the governor of Kano State, you have all the senators on the that elected on the platform of NNPP. Then you also have the Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly, Buba Galadima. The big wigs in NNPP were all there when Boniface and Agbonam and the others were expelled. So, as it is now, I believe it is 2-1 in favor of the Kwankwaso team. But then we should be waiting for the crossfires in the courts, because it won't end there. Before the 2023
election, CKN, Senator Kwankwaso was a member of the People's Democratic Party. And I know that Boniface and Ebuna was the founding father of NNPP. He was the one that registered the party. So they are the owners of their party. So the Kwankwaso faction decided to use the NNPP as a vehicle to get their message across. NNPP has always been there to this Anebuna.
It's a fact. Boniface Anebuna actually registered NNPP.
Yeah. And
when the breakdown of Major Talk failed, you remember that Kwankwaso was to have a Major Talk with former governor Shekarau. They had a meeting. They were together until things fell apart.
Yeah.
They went their separate way. Kwankwaso was tinkering with also running with P2B. But the fact is that they fell out where they want to decide who is going to be the presidential candidate. He also had some talk with Atiku to a large extent until finally, in fact, at the point, towards the end of, before the election, it was said that Kwankwaso was going to step down for either of the districts. But at the end of it all, they couldn't find a place of convergence. And the only party they thought and they believed that they could be able to was NNPP. They went and met Boniface and Nebula. There was an MOU that was signed between Kwankwaso and Nebula.
Sure.
Because we need to put all this in perspective. Because yes, we need to put these things in perspective.
That's what we do.
So because people are looking at, oh, NNPP only have the one governor in Kano, has the senators, but without a platform, the party, whatever you need to candidate, that is the because it's the party that most often goes to the election. That is what recognized.
Sure.
So there were issues. Then let me also tell you that in the NNPP constitution, the founder, who is Boniface, cannot be, is a life member. That is what their constitution said. I was listening to Barrister Ladipo Johnson, my classmate.
Okay.
You know him?
The internal auditor.
Yes, internal auditor. He used to be the PR.
Yes.
He was the PR. I was listening to him today with one other suspended executive, the guy, the chairman, acting chairman in Ogun State. They were on the TV program this morning, and I was listening to them, and these things were real. But within that same constitution, in as much as we cannot suspend him and him as being a founder of this thing, there's also some section in that same constitution that gives the NWC to deal with any issue relating to suspension, irrespective of all members. So that is where they seem to. So what they quickly did yesterday, the ones that met, some people met in Apapa and did the initial suspension. Then this other one. But the fact remains that NNPP is like this has fallen apart. Just like say in this fall apart, and the center cannot hold.
Jide, so can you just shed more light into this crisis? Are you there? Okay, I think we've lost contact with BKO there. So, as it is now, the people that attended the Abuja meeting seem to be more formidable.
No, I said that the person who pays the piper is the money man with a governor, senators. I mean, then he has the heirs of the villa. Kwankwaso has the heirs of the villa, and that's the grouse of the owners of the party. That come, we have been existing, we have been struggling. We didn't need to hobnob with the ruling party, but now, despite the fact that you have Kano, it's not enough for you. You have senators, you have House of Reps members, you have House of Assembly members. You are still going to hobnob with them at the villa in Abuja. So that's why we are suspending you for 6 months for anti-party activities. And Kwankwaso, being the presidential candidate, who sees himself as the person that gave NNPP a life. As a matter of fact, said, come, you can't do this to me. This is an insult. Then he convened NEC and expelled them. It's like the same thing that is happening in Labour Party. And because all these characters, when you don't have anything to, there will be crisis. Between, you can see the between Abure and Apapa in Labour Party. Now it's Anebonam and the Kwankwaso group. But the Kwankwaso group will deal with the Anebonam group. They have hijacked the party from them. Because at the end of the day, it is the neck of the party that INEC recognizes, not the BOT. The BOT is just advisory. It is the neck that has the power to call the shots. And they were smart enough to do that. And they have all the money to prosecute whatever case they want to prosecute in court. So, for Anebona, he has sold that party, quote and unquote. So, if it's really...
No, definitely.
It is going to court.
My personal opinion is that this is just a fallout of spoils of war. My personal opinion. It may just look political to some of us. That, they have an issue. I believe there is more to it than... I have the feeling that certain factions don't seem to be getting their main due, quote and unquote, if you understand what I mean. Their dues. What do you mean by dues? Being a member of a political party, there are certain things that's supposed to come to you. But they just, as MJ said, there is only this cow. The milk is only coming from one breast. As we say in my language, the milk is only coming from one breast. Because apart from Kano, I don't know where NNPP won. I don't know. I may be wrong. No, apart from Kano, I don't think AY. Are you aware? Apart from Kano, I don't know if there's any other place that NNPP.
Kano is the only.
So that is why I'm saying that milk, that juicy milk, is coming from one breast, and it is only the Kwankwaso movement and those in Kwankwaso camp that can be able to. The governor, they have members of House of Rebe. The war chest is very, very big. I think that will be a convergence point for them if they know that they don't want this party to go under. It also happens on some of those parties, ADP and some of them. Remember what happened to that particular party, that former governor of Oyo State, what's his name? It's in Oyo State. Yes, I think Accord. Accord is happened. Accord. It has happened SDP.
Yeah.
It has happened SDP.
APGA.
It has happened in APGA. Yeah. You remember what the problem with APGA when P2B had to leave APGA because he was having issue with the former governor of Anambra State, Obiano. Yeah. So it happens all the time. But I hope that after this initial gragra, they'll be able to get their ass together, or else they still have to go to the court, just as Labour is doing now, until it gets to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will not decide who are the main owners. Well, that is what it has to be. You don't have any other way, because not going to the court means that you are resorting to self-help. And that itself is what the law does prohibit.
Julie, can you please shed more light into this crisis?
Some chairmen of the party came together some months ago and complained that Rabiu Kwankwaso had turned the party to a one-man affair. And they said they were opposed to his reference to himself as the leader of the party. Invariably, those state chairmen, those state chapter chairmen were suspended by the party. As if that was not enough, this thing continued to rumble on, and then the founder of the party, Ane Bonham, a man who made name, fame, and money in the Nigerian maritime sector. I didn't even know that he had gone fully into politics. I've always seen him as a big maritime stakeholder. He and some of his colleagues, again, in the attempt to cage Kwankwaso and stop him from parading himself as someone who owns the party. I think what they hate is for him posturing as the owner of the party in a manner that people will say, oh, no NNPP, no Kwankwaso. But unfortunately, the only place that the NNPP won is Kano. So if they had won in other states, perhaps it would have been a lot easier for them to say, okay, Kwankwaso cannot claim that he owns this party. This party is a lot more than just being a Kwankwaso plaything. They didn't win in any other state apart from Kano. So they have been trying to find a way to cage Kwankwaso, to stop him from parading himself as the leader of the party, and to stop him from making the NNPP look like a one-man party, where whatever he wants gets done. Whatever he doesn't want should not be done. That was their goal. But the Yorubas have a popular saying that a boy must not ask who killed his dad or what killed his dad when he has not been able to lay his hand on a machete. That's literally translated. That's what that Yoruba proverb means. So now they decided to suspend Kwankwaso for the crime of meeting with Tinubu because they accused him of anti-party activities after he's made that he's been seen photographed with Tinubu and all that. They accused him of anti-party activities. But as Buba Galadima, the engineer, said, he actually sought the permission of the party before going to see Asiwaju Tinubu. And after the meeting, he also came back to tell them that Asiwaju Tinubu wants to work with the NNPP. And they then decided that, okay, when it is time, we'll decide whether to work with the NNPP or not. So, Anebonam and co, it's like they try to plan a coup, punish the most recognizable face in the NNPP for alleged anti-party activities because he had meetings with the president. But others, and when I'm talking about others now, we are talking about the heavy hitters, the most powerful people in the party. They are on one side. It is very predictable what the outcome will be. With the governor of the state, governors are the ones who fund political parties in our country. They are much stronger than any other person, any other group within any political party, even the APC at that time. It was governors that decided to chase away the party chairman. It was governors that decided to bring in one of their own as chairman. It was governors that said, okay, Mr. Governor from Yobe, you've had enough. It was governor that chased him away. You know, they were the ones who even extended his tenure back then. So, with that Kano governor on the side of Kwankwaso, it will be difficult for the other people to have a foothold because the resources are with him and his family in support of the man who made him governor, which is Rabiu Kwankwaso. Whether what they've done will stop Kwankwaso from going to Asiwaju or hobnobbing with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, no one knows. But this battle that they have started, no one knows where it will end because they will now go to court and be challenging one another for which faction is the mainstream faction of the NNPP. And when they get into that, the disintegration of the party will begin, and if they are not careful, the party will become weaker and weaker and weaker, and it won't be able to win more than that Kano that it won in the last election. So it is still possible for them to make peace, for them to come together, but I know it's difficult. Nigerian politicians hardly forgive one another. Just the same way that the Edo governor doesn't want to forgive his deputy. They hardly forgive one another. And when you make a move against your leader, that leader will do his best to see your back. So Anebonam and others, they should know at this time that Kwankwaso will not rest until
we have to leave it there. I want to thank you, CKN. Thank you for your contribution. And Mujid Jami, thank you for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this edition tonight at 11 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.